Hello and welcome. Today I'd like to open up a conversation about trauma and about how you could use the elements to build a hypnosis-based trauma grounding kit and why such a thing should become a core part of the work that you do with clients. Because no matter how much or how little experience you have of working with clients, at some stage a client is going to present with trauma. Now, Dan Siegel provides us with a very simple definition of trauma, and that is any experience that overwhelms our ability to cope. Now, trauma gets more complicated when we don't have the resources to cope, or when we try and self-medicate and self-soothe in a bid to reduce the emotional and physical effects of trauma. And what the body interprets as a traumatic experience can differ widely from one person to another. Traumatic experiences can include, but are not limited to, irrational fears or phobias, difficult childhood experiences, insecure childhood attachment, bullying, accidents, sexual, mental, physical or emotional violence, chronic anxiety, stress, bereavement, loss, bad marriage breakup, infidelity, to name but a few. Now, when our clients show up for therapy, it's our job to take a case history, and this is where trauma will show up. You see, our clients will attempt to tell us about their traumatic experience, but they'll only get so far. Because speaking about traumatic experiences will trigger the trauma response. The limbic part of the brain becomes activated and strong emotions rise up to the surface, and the body reacts and begins to exhibit the very symptoms of trauma, and very often it will feel as if it's happening all over again, and we certainly don't want that to happen to our clients. So you see, straight away, as therapists, we're stuck. Our clients' attempts to tell the verbal narrative about their trauma gets beaten by their body, because the body narrative takes center stage. Now, verbal narrative is just that. It's the story the clients tell themselves about their trauma. But Soma Narrative is the trauma story as it is told by the body. It's how trauma shows up in their body. So how does trauma show up in the body? Well, it shows up in two distinct ways. Now, firstly, you'll see it manifest as an activated survival mechanism. When your client tries to recount their experiences, symptoms begin to show. Now, your client might have shallow or rapid breathing. They might have a rapid heartbeat, they might start sweating or feeling cold, there might be a lack of feeling in their extremities. You might notice changes in the colour of the skin on their neck, on their face, on their hands. And their body is reliving the trauma to a greater or lesser extent, and it is their protective survival mechanism that is getting them ready to either fight or to flee. That's not how you want your clients feeling at any stage in the therapeutic process. Now, in extreme cases, it can also activate the freeze response, and our clients can become dissociated or they can zone out in an effort to try and escape, in order to escape and to stop re-experiencing the effects of trauma in their body. Now, secondly, it can show up in the way that they carry themselves. With careful observation, it can be seen in the way that they present themselves when you meet them. It can be evident in their posture, in the way they carry themselves through life. It can be noticeable as you proceed through therapy if, for example, they pull back from you as you move towards them, or if they're holding on to tension in their body, or if they have a limited body vocabulary, for example. You'll notice if there are things that they're just not comfortable doing, such as reaching for something, or holding on, or pushing away, or indeed turning towards. So to summarize, when clients attempt to explain what's happening, To them, their body begins to relive it, to re-experience it. The unbroken pattern of trauma reveals itself, and the event might be in the past, but the effects are here in the present and they're with you in the therapy room. So unless our client is fully engaged and present with us, the trauma interventions we have in our toolkit just won't be as effective as they should be. So we have to start therapy before we're even able to take a proper case history. And that's when conversational hypnosis steps in. So our starting point is to give our clients the coping techniques to help them to manage uncomfortable feelings and to stop traumatic feelings overwhelming their bodies and generating an unmanageable and a subconscious fear response. When our clients begin to describe trauma, we will interrupt the verbal narrative and we will move the focus away from the words and instead bring it into what's happening in their body, their internal experience, and we call this the Soma Narrative. So we can say things like, as you talk about it, what do you feel? Or we can say, I've noticed your breathing has changed a little and you don't look as relaxed as you did a moment ago. I'm guessing your body is feeling it as you speak. Can you point to where you feel it? Or we could say, that must be very uncomfortable for you. Now, these are just a few of the questions that will give us an opening to do something constructive about the uncomfortable physical symptoms of trauma. And every therapist will need to have fast, effective and easy to use techniques to help to regulate clients' emotions and to calm strong body feelings when they come up. And because as they get deeper into describing the trauma, you'll want to make sure that their fear, arousal and anxiety doesn't get too high, because if uncomfortable feelings become too much, it will switch brain activity away from the prefrontal cortex to the reactive survival brain to the limbic system, and this will render much of your talk therapy and your hypnotic interventions ineffective. Now, there are 3 critical pre-therapy hypnosis-based tools that you can give to your clients, and these are to help them to develop what we call a personal grounding kit. Now, first of all, you can help them to identify and to develop a holding anchor, and that is designed to do just that, to help them to connect with comfortable feelings and to show them how to access those feelings whenever they're triggered or whenever they feel anxious or worried that the trauma feelings will get too strong. And just like an anchor on a boat, it will hold them in a safe and comfortable place and it will stop them from drifting off course. Now, secondly, you can help them to identify and to use what we call a safe place. Now, we don't call it a safe place because that can be a trigger word in itself. Instead, in hypnotherapy, we call this a special place. This is a place that they can go to in their mind that restores feelings of calmness and security. And thirdly, you can help your clients to identify and to mentally connect with a person that helps them to feel grounded. Now, this would be someone they view as having a secure attachment style, or someone who exhibits the characteristics or traits of secure attachment. Now, this person can be someone they know, someone that they have never met but have always admired, or this could be a guru or a wise person, or indeed their higher self, or what we call the hidden observer. Now, using conversational hypnosis to create a grounding kit like this, it isn't therapy, but it is the precursor of great therapy, and a great relationship with your clients. Now, this grounding kit, it won't process trauma nor will it provide emotional and physical release, but it will prime your client for the deep work that you can do. And there are lots and lots of hypnotic trauma releasing techniques that you can use. And the hypnotherapy I teach will provide you with highly effective trauma interventions to clear the effects of trauma from the brain and from the emotions and also from the body. And in particular, limbic system hypnosis focuses on the body and on the limbic system and integrates them with cognitive strategies and hypnotic suggestions. Now, before we do that, we have to do this. We have to introduce the conversational hypnosis grounding kit first, because the nervous system can get stuck in a trauma response, triggering those uncomfortable physical and emotional responses. And if the body and the mind are dysregulated, things can very easily get out of control, and it can be very difficult for our clients to get the results they want or to heal from the pain of trauma. Now, even if the therapy interventions you have are absolutely excellent, we still need to have a grounding kit. So we use what we call a bottom-up approach instead of the traditional top-down approach that's used in psychotherapy. So we start doing therapy before we've even had a chance to take a comprehensive case study. We use conversational hypnotherapy techniques to create a personalized grounding kit for each client. Now, there are a number of benefits to doing this and learning how to do this. So if what I'm speaking to you about sounds way beyond your level of training or expertise or even your confidence level, then it's important to know that trauma will present itself to you at some time, and very often when you least expect it. And here's what's so exciting. Even if you know that you have to refer your client on to specialist services, you can, number one, give your client a great set of coping skills before they leave your care. Skills that will make it easier for them to start all over again, trying to retell and share their traumatic experiences. Number two, by giving your clients this grounding kit, you won't leave your clients feeling that you've either been dismissive or eager to get rid of them or to just pass them on. Number three, it shows that you have unconditional positive regard. You show up as being someone who's accepting, supporting and non-judgmental. And finally, number four, they are much more likely to get help from someone else because you have strengthened their belief that therapy can and will work, because you've equipped them with some basic self-soothing skills. Now, if you have experience working with clients and trauma presents itself, well then this conversational approach and the trauma grounding kit will demonstrate a number of really important things. First of all, it will get therapy off to a great start because you will deliver actionable, usable and highly effective results right from the get-go. Number two, your clients will feel comfortable and safe working with you because you have been observant enough to know and to respond to their trauma response. And you did something about it straight away. You didn't leave them suffering in silence or experiencing an invisible trauma response which they desperately tried to hide and to stay strong during the session. And thirdly, it will deepen rapport and develop stronger engagement across the whole therapy process. And then another thing it will do is it will communicate to their subconscious mind that it's safe and that it's okay to bring things up to the surface and to examine what lies beneath their conscious awareness. And also it will strengthen their belief in your ability to be the kind of therapist who can hold space for them and protect them while you prepare to release the trauma from their mind, their brain, their emotions, and their body. And once you have this hypnotic grounding kit installed, you'll then be able to continue and take that case history and to gather all the information you need and to make informed decisions around what trauma release and deactivating techniques will work best with that particular client. And I really do believe that it's really difficult to make progress until you've done this, because no matter how good your approach may be, it's very difficult to make that kind of progress if you're not able to engage the reflective parts of the brain without triggering the reactive parts of the brain. Because when our clients think about or talk about trauma, it's as if the trauma, or if the trauma is triggered by environmental cues, well then the trauma response, you see, activates automatically, and they're right back into the vicious cycle that they come to us to help them break. So that's it from me. My name is Susan Wallace, and I'm here to help you to be the best, have the best, and give your best to your clients. Thank you.